Welcome to our new series, the 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie.
Well, let's move on. Now, you got to choose your second movie. So
I did.
let's talk about what was the second movie that you watched. Now that you had free choice, I didn't force you to watch a fun cheesy musical. What was the second movie you watched?
So I decided to watch, because I haven't watched many animated ones. So I decided to watch an anime, and this is one from one of my favorite directors in Japanese animation, and this is from Makoto Shinkai. This is actually the movie from 2022 called Suzume, and I'm going to read the back of the DVD style synopsis,
Ooh,
and then we're going to talk about it.
okay.
So, because I don't think I can do it justice by just explaining what happens, but I kind of want to set up, what it's about, and then we can go from there because I just kind of want to get your feeling when you hear this. So, 17-year-old Suzume is the main character. Her ordinary life is turned upside down when she meets a mysterious young man, very pretty young man, by the way, searching for doorways to disaster. So there's like all these doorways popping up across Japan, um, that connect to other worlds, and he closes these doorways because they're like connected to this underworld, and then this worm that secretly lives under Japan can come out and basically causes disasters, right? So as she's kind of following him and seeing what he's doing, she discovers these portals as well, and she realizes that if these portals are left open, that they basically cause like devastation. Um, Through a series of circumstances, this young man is transformed into a three-legged chair. And as a three-legged chair and as a high school girl, they have to journey across Japan to systematically kind of close these doors and to prevent further catastrophes. And then they're also dealing with Suzume's past and her ghost of the past, and then the losses that she's incurred. And it's done in an incredibly beautiful way. But I don't want it to be glossed over because I thought about this a lot and I went into this movie blind, but I was very surprised that the character was turned into a three-legged chair and that they go and the rest of the movie is like he's a chair. Now this chair is tied to like her mom. She gave her this chair, and it's tied to the an actual real life earthquake disaster that happened in Japan as well, and her mother passed away in it due to tsunamis and things like that. They lost like entire city, but you know, dealing with grief and trying to kind of reclaim that, and going through that, she basically ends up removing one of the keystones that keeps the worm like in place in Japan. And it turns to a cat, and they're just trying to chase that cat and trying to get it back so they can close this portal like permanently. But it's one of the most beautiful movies that I've ever seen. Animated. It's got a great soundtrack. I've always liked his movies. There's another movie that he has called Your Name, that is absolutely fucking amazing. There's 5 centimeters per second. Even his first one, which was a 30-minute movie called A Place Promised Our Early Days, um, I thought was a masterpiece. And then it's because a lot of people talk about Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki and everything, but Makoto Shinkai is also an amazing director. And again, it's a movie about a girl and a three-legged chair chasing a cat, trying to close portals throughout Japan so that a giant worm doesn't come out and destroy all of Japan. How's that land?
It's like a Persona game right there. Uh, Portals,
But it's
creature.
got a lot. When movies set rules, though, right? You believe in them
This is true.
as long as
Yes,
it's
yes.
as
No
long as it's
matter
within
as
rules, right?
absurd as a story is, if they stay true to it, I'm okay with it. That's
Right,
basically
which
it.
is
Just
what
don't be like, hey, we're gonna do this. Why? I don't know. Just cause. But anyhow.
Yeah, and so that's why when the guy is turned into a three-legged chair, I'm like, I remember thinking to myself, I could never come up with this idea. I'd never
Okay.
in a million years come up with this idea. But it works because there's an emotional weight to the story that you're watching. And if you're watching something and if you believe in what you're watching, it doesn't fucking matter how absurd it gets so long as it stays within the promises that it made. And as long as it stays with the promises they made, and it keeps the promises that, like, it keeps the promises, like, you like buy in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And the way that it's animated is absolutely fantastic. I can't believe this movie was came out in 2022 because of just the level of animation, the colors and everything like that. It was absolutely fucking stunning to watch, and it's definitely one of the best anime movies I've seen in a long time. Um, and this one really got to me as well. And um, the ending probably, I don't know if it hits for me as well. I probably have to rewatch it again. Um, a lot of kind of how you rank movies sometimes is kind of how you feel with the last few moments and stuff. And so the ending was fine, but it's kind of like, But overall, when I think about the movies that I've seen this year and where Suzume ranks, it's actually ranked number 3 for me
Ooh.
of all the movies that I've seen this year. So this is my number 3 movie. When I first watched it and I was watching it, you watch movies and you're kind of like, where's this gonna rank? It kind of was like 1 for a while, but just as we've talked about this, you kind of let movies just simmer a little bit in your mind, and you kind of let your mind work on things and kind of like settle into what it really is.
Yes.
But after settling and after thinking about it, um, with all the movies that I've seen this year, it's the third best movie that I've seen this year, 100%.
Damn. It's also the
Yeah.
25th movie you've seen this year. So
Nice.
that's a quarter.
Yeah, Suzume is number 3 for me, and I don't think that's going to change. We're not going to have a hell or high water situation. I think at hell or high water, I was kind of like in that infatuated stage when you fall in love, and then you kind of realize that maybe it's not all that. And I'm not saying Hell or High Water is a bad movie. It's pretty good, but Suzume is it's one of the most beautiful movie experiences I've seen in my life from like a purely artistic and color standpoint and everything. It is like a masterpiece. Does it hit all the notes it needs to hit from a story framework for me to like get there? No, but incredibly enjoyable nonetheless.
Well, damn. New number 3. Top 5. It's always good. Yeah, when I was looking at the pictures to get for thumbnails, I actually thought the animation, just the pictures, was kind of cool. So
hmm Yeah, no, I'm sorry I spoiled the chair thing, but I felt like
no,
I
it's
had to
okay.
because when it happened, when I was watching it and it happened, I just looked over at Sarah and I was like, "What the fuck?" I had in no way did I ever pictured that it was going to go in that direction. And I've seen movies, you've seen movies, we kind of have that vibe where it's like you kind of already have like you just have that internal Rolodex of where things could go when you watch a new movie, just based on the thousands of movies we watched.
Yeah.
Um, and never in my threads of watching movies that I think this guy's going to turn into the chair. And it added such a twist to it that I was just like, this is one of the most original things I've ever seen. And but again, if it's done with heart and emotion, I can buy into it really easily. It doesn't fucking matter. Just get me to emotionally buy in, and I'm there with you.